Alex here with a legal nuts and bolts video on trial de novo. There isn't a whole lot to this video, but I do get questions on it, and it is used sometimes in the law. It doesn't seem to me like it's used very often, but it is used sometimes. Trial de novo means you just get a new trial, a trial anew. And it is used sometimes. I don't like to use the word appeal because it's not an appeal, but I think that's how people would see it. People would see it as, okay, they lost their case and they want a new trial all over again from the beginning. There's some standard mechanisms for trial de novos built in the rules of civil procedure, and those have to do with there was legitimately some kind of problem with the trial that warrants having a new one. But most of my viewers aren't asking me questions in that sense as much. They're asking me the question in the sense of they're in a state where their appellate process has somehow built into it a trial de novo. And I just wanted to say that my channel's videos on appeals might be confusing for those people in those other states because mine are closely linked to what I talk about in the video standard of review, which explains how appellate courts review a case for error. And all of that stuff doesn't apply to somebody who's in one of those states where they're able to get a trial de novo. For all of those people, you just literally get a new trial, and that comes with all of the things that the first trial had. So you present your case, the witnesses again get to testify, all of the evidence is submitted again, and the judge will again make findings of fact and conclusions of law. And two things that I would warn people about, and I don't know if this is going to be a thing or not, but this is just my suspicion that you'd want to check, is I wonder very much so if the judge in the second case is able to rely on any of the evidence submitted in the first case. It makes me very curious. I also wonder whether new issues can be brought up at the second trial that weren't brought up at the first. I wonder if the trial de novo is constrained in some way to what was discussed in the first trial, or if the sky's the limit and the person can attempt a completely different argument and list of assertions that they didn't attempt in the first one. Makes me wonder. Another thing I wonder is if discovery happens again or not. These are all things that a person who gets this kind of mechanism should want to check into. Because if you've already gone through discovery for the first trial, does your new trial really need you to go through it again? I'm not saying that it should or shouldn't, or that you can or can't necessarily. I'm saying it's probably going to be in your rules or maybe in your case law. The next thing I like to say is we do have these in some areas of Nevada law. I've seen them. For example, we have something called court annexed arbitration in Nevada, and there's a special set of rules called the Nevada arbitration rules. And if a person does not like the decision that the arbitrator made, they can ask for a trial de novo. So that's a place in Nevada where that happens. And then that trial goes to the district court. But what I was going to say is I've noticed that there is some rules in there in the Nevada arbitration rules where if you ask for a trial de novo and you lose, you have to pay the other person's attorney fees or something like that. So my instinct would be to tell my viewers, you should probably check into that. There may be some kind of monetary penalty if you ask for a trial de novo and you lose your new trial. All There's only really one other thing I'd like to mention, I guess, since this kind of dovetails into what I was talking about early on with appeals. I do know, and I mentioned this earlier in the video, that you can ask for a new trial when there is some kind of issue with the original trial. And this is something that is kind of a step between the first trial and an appeal. And it does give the judge the opportunity to order a new trial, which, as far as I know, would prevent the appeal. There may be something in the rules of appellate procedure that allow that to be appealed, but I'm not sure, and I'm not going to check into it. That's up to each viewer to do their own research. But what I was going to say was it is a tolling motion. So if you get a chance, you should look at the video filing an appeal to understand how tolling motions work if you're trying to get a trial de novo because you're arguing that there was some kind of error in the first court or in the first trial that warrants it. I have another thing that I just thought of. So I don't know a lot about this either because I haven't gone through this, but apparently we have some courts in Nevada that are not courts of record. And someday I'm going to do a video on courts of record. I just haven't done a tremendous amount of research on it because I haven't gone through it myself. But My understanding, and again, this is very limited understanding, but I at least want to let my viewers know just in case they're watching a legal nuts and bolts video and want to do research because it matters to them. My understanding is that when it comes to decisions that are made by courts that are not courts of record, apparently a trial de novo is the only way to really deal with that in Nevada. The reason I know this is because somebody filed an appeal to, or somebody wanted to challenge a decision made in Boulder City Justice Court, and they ended up having a trial in the district court, which I'd never seen before. I'd never seen like misdemeanor, I think it was like crossing a crosswalk or something. I've never seen the district court deal with that kind of criminal charge. I've seen them deal with felonies. That's what I thought they were supposed to be there for. But apparently, when it comes to a normal justice court, you can get an appeal at the district court level, which is just like a normal appeal and all the normal rules apply. But Boulder City Justice Court isn't a court of record. So the individual had to have an actual second trial in the 8th Judicial District Court over crossing a crosswalk. And that is something that kind of blew my mind. But okay, that's apparently something that I want to let my viewers know about, because even if it's a weird thing that rarely occurs, it's something that does occur. And so that was an example as to where I saw trial de novos pop up, where it's not a court of record. And so I guess there's no record to really look at if an appeal's filed. And so the only way to really fight it is to just have a second go at it. All of that being said, I hope this video is useful to my viewers. If you have any questions, feel free to post them down in the comments below, and I will see you guys next time.